Well, that's really the question. Like, he may be a Fed, but he at least is fetting up the views that you agree with.
I agree with. So as long as they're doing what I agree with, right?
So there are a lot of people out there going, I don't care if Tucker's a Fed or CIA. He's at least asking the questions, having the conversations that I want to hear. So we're okay with that.
Fair enough.
Then there's people going, oh, well, who cares if Candace is a Fed because she represents me? Then now we've normalized the idea of everyone being okay with everyone we listen to being Feds.
Yes.
That's the problem. You see how that happened?
Yes, yeah, see how that happened. But if we were to be really, truly intellectually honest, the media apparatus writ large, in mass, entirety of our media apparatus has been co-opted by the three-letter agencies for decades. So for us to unravel this and to unmask it and say, hey, you thought it was just CNN? You thought it was mainstream media? You thought it was Washington Post? You thought it was Facebook? We kind of knew it was Facebook. You thought it was TikTok. Sorry, guys, it's even worse than you thought. It's your favorite mainstream influencer. Your Nick Fuentes, your Tucker, your Candace, your Ben Shapiro. They're all Feds. And that's where you look at it and say, well, I kind of knew that everything was infiltrated. But now that it's fully realized, I don't know where to go with my brain. I don't know where to go next.
It's crazy one.
What would be the point of watching any of it then? Because if you know it's all Fed
it's
controlled.
Entertainment. We live in a political entertainment society.
So that
none of it is real.
We're there. Black Mirror.
The whole thing is a script because we've talked about it before. The entire thing is scripted. The entire thing is a movie. All the people that we watch are mere characters. That would be the other argument.
So then therefore you would say
that's like ultimate black pill. It's hopeless.
That's exactly where I was going. You and I are useful idiots talking about a sitcom. Then
if we are the useful idiots commenting on literally theater, then doesn't that make us part of the asset and apparatus also?
So,
like we just gave this entire show. We gave half a show to an entire fake show of drama.
Yeah. So you're saying
we're part of it.
The only difference between you and I and Candace and Tucker and Nick is Candace, Tucker, and Nick are knowingly deceiving us.
I don't know if they are. Okay.
Just track with me in the logic. They're knowingly deceiving us versus you and I. We are unwittingly deceiving everyone.
So are we results people or are we like intent people? Because maybe it's the same.
Well, it can't be results because brother hasn't made any money. Why the fuck are we doing this, bro?
Well, maybe that's why you want to be the knowing idiot instead of the unknowing idiot. Because the difference between the knowing idiot and unknowing idiot
get paid.
Is that the knowing idiot gets paid.
And we get stuck with the bag.
Because we are the bag holder.
Fuck.
If we knew, maybe we'd monetize it. So is it better to be a knowing idiot if the whole thing is fake? Or do we just have to trust that some things are organic? Because I actually believe that the Nick Fuentes rise is organic. I think that him being clipped and people putting his name out there, I think it's just a huge group of population that are feeling extremely disenfranchised with society, and they just happen to run into this one guy because people do come along that are able to speak to the hearts and minds of the masses.
Yes.
And he just happens to be that guy. I think that's true.
Yeah, let me give you a perfect example of that. Well, let me back up and look at the meta. The meta is exactly what you say. Men and women rise up organically, and then they get co-opted. That's just how it works. Every major regime change in every country is the exact same way. You have this upstart, starts a little fire. The feds, it gets on their radar. They're like, ooh, he can serve our purpose. You know what this man needs? He just needs funding. Let's give him some funding. Oh, now he can do some more. Let's give him some more funding. Now he can do some more. That's how it works. So everything starts organic. Martin Luther King, great example. Martin Luther King started organic. He had an idea. He had a movement. He got some people to agree with him. Oof, he's useful. Let's give him some money. Let's give him some prostitutes. Let's give him some inside deals. We won't talk about all that stuff till later. But
Oh, I finally figured it out.
like I'm not. Some of you guys are gonna be like, "Oh man, you're dogging on Martin." He was not a good man.
No.
He was a terrible man, actually. Actually, he was funded by those that we shall not name, the nameless ones, right? I mean, like, nobody that you think in history that has been bolstered up as this man or woman of industry and of greatness, generally you find under the covers the same insidious reptilian creatures supporting and financing and pushing that thing. Like all of the people that are being killed in South Africa, all the Afrikaners. Do you think that the locals really want to go kill these people? Or do you think they're being, let's just say, provoked and funded by certain organizations so that they can be outfitted with, let's just say, military-grade comms and radio systems, as we've seen, while they're doing raids on white African farmers? It's like, how did you get this $15,000 radio comm set when you're just raiding them? I don't know. How'd they're funding?
How did a pallet of bricks show up at a BLM event?
Who knows?
I don't know. There was just a pallet of bricks on the ground on the street corner in the middle of Chicago.
And somehow, miraculously, it was every other street corner. There were more bricks. It was like there was a pattern.
And has anyone seen this random pallet of bricks post BLM or pre BLM? By the way,
well, all I know is that during quinceañeras, there's no pallet of bricks. So what's up with that? Why don't they get pallets of bricks?
Because they have piñatas.
Ah, shit. That's right.
You just put the blindfold on and you hit it, and you may get some candy.
Right. So if it's not a quinceañera, it's a pile of bricks. So you don't need to be blindfolded, so you know what you can hit.
Exactly.
I see how this
Exactly.
works. I see. Soros, doing the Lord's work.
I like Nick. I think he's really interesting. I've grown more fond of him over time.
His America First message resonates.
Yeah, I found it really interesting. I really started watching him more during kind of the end of the election cycle because he made a lot of sense and he was saying things that no one else was saying.
So let me throw it back to you. If you found out that Candace, Tucker, or Nick were knowingly feds, would your opinion change?
So if I found out that Tucker was a fed, I'd be like, huh, okay, that makes sense. Right? I wouldn't be like floor to the ground shocked because there's a pattern there, there's a connection there, there's like influence there. He is like he is an elite. So for it to be true, it's not like it's not world-shatteringly shocking.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're more likely to work for Russia than I am to be CIA because I really hate the CIA. That's so obvious. Like, huh, what a weird thing to say.
That's what a Fed would say.
That was like the most odd thing to say, like, ever. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody says that.
So would it make you kind of do a mixtape review of your interactions and, hanging out with him? Was
he the handler? Whoa.
Kind of where I was going. Was he beginning to groom you? Because you guys spent a lot of time in the beginning together.
And they're like, oh, this guy's like not the play ball kind of guy. Let's just.
I mean, here I am, little old me, sitting on the periphery, Matt, seeing how deep you went real quick. And I won't spill any tea here, but let's just say you and him were like texting besties. But if I may say in your defense, I don't think you were useful enough. I think you were maybe too free thinking for his ilk, for his liking.
I don't know. I don't want to make accusations. I like him still on a personal level. If it came out that he was, and people proved it, which Nick's getting pretty close to, if it's true, it's not world-shatteringly shocking.
No. And let me ask you this then. What is Tucker's purpose then? Because he's all over the map. Like, he's talking with personalities all over the place. So just leave it there. What's his purpose then? Because it doesn't seem like he's creating a lot of dissent. I mean, on a scale of how much dissent a Nick Fuentes versus a Tucker, I'd say Nick would be 100, Tucker would be like a 70.
If
Candace would be like a 60.
Like head of the shadow CIA and I had access to be able to work or use Tucker to manipulate or speak to the masses.
Yes.
I would do exactly what I'm doing, which is use him as a blow-off steam.
Blow-off valve, yeah.
Blow-off valve.
Yeah.
because when there's a certain issue, like they were talking about the war with Israel and Iran and the Middle East and all this, all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, like don't do that. Like, it's okay to support Qatar a little bit. And all of a sudden people are like, ooh, and then right? You got the Israel and Gaza and Palestine, all this fighting going on. And then he's like, oh yeah, but look at let's bring in the Holocaust denying like historian, and people are like,
so just enough topic coverage to blow off the steam.
I mean, that's what it's, if that's intentional or not, that's what's happening.
So what you're saying, let me put this together. Candace and Tucker are the mechanisms of the feds and the three-letter agencies to be blow-off valves for the masses. We're talking about Macron. We're talking about Epstein. We're talking about Ukraine. We're talking about Israel. Just enough so that people can say, whew, people are talking about it. Good.
Yes.
I feel good. The problem is Nick is going too far. He's going, well, there's these little tiny hats, and they're problematic. And I think we should do more than just say, oh, no. We don't like them influencing our politics and our war machine. We should do more. So do you think Tucker and Candace are the vanguard against the Knicks, riling up? Because Tucker and Candace want to keep everyone on a simmer. Nick can get them to a boil. And you don't want a boil. Does that make sense?
I mean,
is that why they're ganging up on Nick? Because he is the boiling element, whereas they're just the simmering element?
it could be multitude of things. That is definitely a possibility. Another possibility is that Nick is 26 years old and he's gathering attention and momentum at a rate and scale that neither of them has ever actually experienced or lived through.
Well, it's like an Australian painter.
He's catching them very quickly without the influence, without the reach,
without the
without
machine,
the money, without the machine, without the organization, without this entire apparatus of what pushed both of these people, because both of them were not organically created like Nick was.
Yeah, he's outside the matrix.
Nick was this 18-year-old kid in a dorm room that just became Nick Fuentes.
He's Neo.
But those two, they were created by different machines and organizations and funding groups and etc.
Yes.
And it's not a knock on Tucker and Candace to say that's true, but it is true.
The machine life is a good life.
They were not self-made online personalities. They were created for a fact. Nick kind of came up the ranks on his own. And maybe they don't like that. It could be even as basic and simple as jealousy.
Could be. Could be as simple as jealousy. I don't know what works in the hearts and minds of others, but I can see all of the things that you've brought up certainly being part of the equation. Like, I almost, as you were speaking here, I almost saw Nick as this Neo that's exited the Matrix. Because you're right, Tucker and Candace had already existing machines that could promote them, push them, grow them, support them, manage them, etc. Like, fair enough. Like, the machine is there for a purpose. However, Nick truly, I don't know everything, but it seems like Nick truly rose outside of the walled garden of effect. So, it could be many of those answers. They could be jealous, they could be upset, they could be part of the machine, they could be feds, they could be the anti-narrative, the antithesis to what he's trying to do. They could be the simmering element, whereas Nick is the boiling element. There's a lot to play here, but it seems like if we were to wrap it all together, there's an imbalance. You have a Nick and you have Candace and Tucker on one side and Nick on the other. That imbalance creates enough dissonance where it seems like Nick would be in the right.
They agree, the three of them agree on maybe 80% of all the issues. They're actually ideologically not far off from each other.
Yeah. So what's the 20% differential?
I don't know.
Is it because just Nick goes hard? And I mean,
You got me. I don't really know where the huge difference in their ideology and views are. They actually align pretty well.
They're
but all of
three-
a sudden they're like, no, you're a Fed. No, you're a Fed. No, you're a Fed. Like, wait,
it is odd. It is odd.
what's going on here? Why?
Maybe the greater handlers have looked at all three of these and said, oof, Nick, and they're all America first.
Or maybe it's just like WWE. Hey, it's summertime. You know, Trump just did this martial law thing in Washington, D.C. We don't want people to focus on that.
Oh, well, Hulkamania just died.
Let's just let them fight each other while we figure some other stuff out. That could be as basic as it is.
Man, like, the more that we're able to extract ourselves out of ourselves, the more we move into the true black pill.
Yeah.
Of absolute futility.
That's the scariest part. That
That
all
is-
roads lead to black pill.
It all, yeah, and yeah. Another way of looking at it is all roads lead to futility. It's futile. Like the machine is here. Like get over it. And you think you're exiting the machine? No, you're just in another abstraction of the same machine, a couple layers deeper or a couple layers abstracted. But it doesn't matter. The matrix is still there, and frankly, the steak is still good.
Final thought on this is that at the end of the day, you have Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, who are two of the biggest names ever to live on the right, who are part and have been groomed by these enormous machines against this one kid, Fed or not, Nick Fuentes, and this one kid, 26 years old, is single-handedly handling both. If you don't give him the respect for that, or if you're on the left or you're on the other side of the right or other side of the argument on this, if you don't take him seriously, you're making a huge mistake. His army and his group and his following is growing exponentially. He is trending so hard. It reminds me of Andrew Tate trending in 2020, 2021. But it's a very different way to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're not taking him seriously, you're making a mistake.
You're gonna get caught with your pants down.
Maybe we'll have him on. We'll try.
Ooh,
We're gonna try. I'm trying. We'll
we
see.
should, dude.
We'll try.
I would love it.
Yeah, we'll try to get him. We're gonna work
Let's
on it.
get the Nick Fuentes in there. SARS. Let's go.
Thanks for watching the clip. If you want to see the full episode, click here. If you want to see more clips, click here.